I was shocked to learn that diet-related chronic conditions are the leading cause of poor health and premature deaths. This statistic tells me that what we eat is one of the most important decisions we can make for our health. Today's sponsor, Zoe, understands this. Zoe is the science and nutrition company that helps people make smarter food choices. Over 100,000 people are already Zoe members, living healthier lives by following their own personalized nutrition program. Zoe membership starts with at-home tests to see how your body responds to food and which good and bad microbes live in your gut. Then Zoe's app uses your test results to create your tailored nutrition program, helping you build healthy habits step by step. And Zoe is proven to work. In a randomized, controlled trial, participating Zoe members reported positive changes to their gut microbiome and were 4 times more likely to report better sleep and more energy. Sounds good, right? Oh, and if Zoe sounds familiar, you're probably among the millions who've tuned into their podcast, Zoe Science and Nutrition. Will you try Zoe membership to improve your health? The first step is easy. Go to zoe.com and take the free quiz and use the code STYLE10 to get 10% off your test kit and membership. That's zoe.com and use the code STYLE10 for your unique discount.
Today, I'm going on a style journey with the founder and CEO of the digital publisher Sheer Luxe, the brilliant Georgie Coleridge Cole. Hello and welcome, Georgie.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Lovely to have you here. I want to start by asking you, probably a question you've been asked many, many times, what inspired you to start Sheer Luxe?
I was always someone that people used to say, where did you get this? And I would say H&M, or I found it in X, Y, or Z. And I suppose I always had a bit of an eye. I spent a lot of time as a child in Hong Kong and followed my stepmother around markets, and she always had an eye, and we'd rummage and rummage and rummage and rummage. And yes, I think I always had an eye. I've always been someone who's wanted to share recommendations with other people. I toyed with personal styling, realised it wasn't for me, but thought I wanted to share where to buy a good t-shirt, etc., and thought I'd try and write a book, age 25. Realised as I was researching content for the book that perhaps it should be online. And that was in 2005.
At which point you were working for Coty?
I worked for Coty. I was an intern. I was always really hungry to work. I was really, I didn't love being a student, and I wanted to get going, and I really wanted to start my career. And Working Girl is one of my favourite movies. I wanted a Rolodex and a filing cabinet, and that's sort of what I dreamt of as a child. And so, to me, being a student was a bit of a pain, and I wanted to get on with it. So I interned at Coty throughout my time at Edinburgh University. I was the first intern they ever had in London. I worked for them in Paris on my year abroad, and when I left Edinburgh, I went to work for them in marketing for a year. Left there and actually went to Savills, had a property marketing agency, and I went there for a really, really brief stint, realised very quickly it wasn't for me. And that was when I started working on the plan. So I was very young. I was 25 when I started working on it. I'm 43. So it's been a long time.
That is incredibly young and quite a vision. I mean, the fashion industry has changed a lot since 2005.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the main changes in your view in the digital world?
I mean, the digital world didn't exist when I started Sheer Luxe. We had MySpace, I think. ASOS were online, what were around. Net were online I think the White Company were online. And then there was this sort of long tail of independent retailers, brands, I guess, the kind of brands that you'd find at Spirit of Christmas, which is actually what formed the Not on the High Street business model. So there was a long tail of online retail. Fashion was, it was still the heyday of print. And in all honesty, I, like so many girls, longed to work at Condé Nast. I did a brief internship there. I got offered a job as assistant to the publisher of Tatler. I think it was Alia Fateh, was that her name? Yeah. And I saw her a few years ago, having not seen her since then. And actually, I decided I didn't want to do that. But, I've sort of read all the books, whether it's Tina Brown or Nicholas Coleridge, or, I've read every fashion book, docu-film, seen it, that there is. And, I have sort of huge regrets that I wasn't, 10 years older and could really be part of that print heyday. But it was starting to change. And yeah, I thought there was a gap, there was an opportunity. It was not easy, I'm not going to lie. I had no experience. I was very much the outsider. I felt like a real imposter. I didn't really throw myself into the industry. I just got my head down and worked really hard on the site and the content and realised that that's how I would have to prove myself.
Yeah, I mean, it struck me at the time as extraordinarily brave. I mean, brilliant, but incredibly brave, because it was early days for Net and ASOS and all of that lot. And as you were saying, the publishers, the big publishers, the Condé Nast and the Hearst, had not embraced online at that stage. Yes, it was beginning to bubble, but I mean, that was a big old brave move. Do you think
naive? I don't think it was brave. I think
do you think there was something about that sort of 20-something naivety that gave you the power to just do it?
Yeah, I think. I've always been ambitious. My husband always says there's more ways to skin a cat, and I wanted a career, and yeah, I wanted to run something, to be something, to have a successful career, whatever that meant. And at Coty, I was sort of really impatient to be promoted and progress to the next level. And at the time I was there, Coty acquired the Unilever prestige business. And I went to RMD, Liz Garrett, she was amazing. And she said, look, Georgie, there's no promotions for 6 months. We need this acquisition, this merger to happen, and then we'll work it out. And it was at that point when I was like, right, well, I'm off and I'm going to go and work somewhere else. And no, God, we left on brilliant terms. She was an amazing woman. But I think it was just ambition, naivety, and the fact that I saw there was a gap in the market. And my husband, who was just my husband at the time, thought it was a good idea. And he's a sort of glass half full.
And it has been an extraordinary idea. I mean, talking about ambition, what is your ambition for Sheer Luxe from here on in? Because every time I look, there's another bolt-on, there's a talent management, there's all of these different bolt-ons, which I think is brilliant.
Well, that's very kind. Yeah, Blush Talent Management is what it says on the tin. Luxe & Co. we also have, which is a creative agency. So, from 17 years of running Sheer Luxe, I've got a pretty good idea of what consumers engage with when it comes to creative and storytelling, and how to be aspirational but commercial. And I think that's part of why we're still here and where we are, is because we've always realised that, yes, you want to be aspirational, but you've got to be commercial, you've got to sell. Yeah. And so we sort of can take all those learnings, and having grown up in digital, and apply those to retail brands, fashion brands, beauty brands, whoever it might be. So that's Luxe & Co. We recently launched in the Middle East a year ago, nearly just coming up to a year, actually. So that's a new journey. But in answer to your question, I think my biggest hope is that Sheer Luxe continues to live and grow and live beyond me, whatever that means, and evolve and keep innovating and stay at the forefront of digital. And that comes with huge pressure, but yeah, I hope we can be the publisher that sets the standard of what good and success looks like in the digital publishing world. I don't quite know what that looks like in sort of 10 years' time, but that's the hope.
The one thing that I'm curious about, having done my research not only on you but on Sheer Luxe, is I felt, if I can be honest, that there was a little bit of a lack of my age group being represented on it. And I just think there's quite a lot of ageism in the world.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of publishers say it's just not aspirational or the rest of it, but it is a highly lucrative part of the market.
Absolutely.
And I'm curious about your thoughts on that.
Well, you came on our Gold show, Amanda,
Yes,
so...
but that's the Gold show. When I look at your talent management, there's no one of
fair.
my generation.
Fair. I will take that on board.
I'm just curious if that's something on your radar, because you do just hear again and again, kids have flown the nest, people are changing their careers or retiring or whatever they're doing, and they've just got more to spend and more time to spend with it.
I couldn't agree with that more. We're actually developing a product at the moment. We were throwing strap lines around yesterday, and Still Got It came up, and quite a few other cheesy slogans. But look, I couldn't agree more. And I'm 43. My children are 13 down, and I guess I'm getting to an age where, I realise that I'm sort of just coming into my own, and I'm sure you feel the same.
I mean, at my age, I feel like I am just coming into my own, and it's such a good feeling.
Yeah, and I think it's a brilliant time for women. And, I've spent the last however many years trying to work, be there for my children, and I'm sort of just coming up for air a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, they still massively need
she
me.
Who has started a new business in the Middle East.
But I sort of mean, and I suppose I've never just been a mother, and I think people who are full-time mothers are phenomenal. Couldn't have more respect for them. I couldn't do it. It's the hardest job in the world. But, I think at the age I am, and I'm sure you'd agree, and I know who I am, I'm more confident than ever in that. I know some of the things I thought were my sort of worst characteristics are maybe my best, and I've spent years sort of trying to hide those characteristics.
Like what?
Like, being bossy or having a loud voice, or moving quickly, or, I'm someone who moves quickly and breaks things. My husband is very precise. He restacks the dishwasher. He parks perfectly. He actually crashed into the gate the other day, which made me very happy. He woke me up and said, "Oh my God, I've had a shocker." And he'd driven into the gate. I was like, yes.
Because it's usually you crashing into the gate.
Always me. Always me. And he was going to kill me for saying that. But, I am a move quickly and break things. Minimum viable product, test, evolve. And
you think that's been your superpower?
And I think, I do. But for a long time, I've made mistakes, but for a long time I sort of felt a bit of shame for them, or that it wasn't good. They weren't good characteristics. So I think I know who I am, warts and all. Life is short, dinosaurs lived 200 million years ago. Any girlfriends of mine listening to this are going to laugh. The human species, it's short. Make the most of it. Enjoy it. Don't torture yourself too much, I think. And life is what you make it. And I think it's amazing to be surrounded by so many brilliant women. And the world has changed a lot in that respect too. I hear you. We are actually focusing on doing more for a sort of more mature women. I suppose in some research groups we've done in the past, women have said, don't think that because I'm in my late 50s, I can't be inspired by somebody in their 30s.
Yeah.
It's a sort of state of mind. And we often say that gold is a state of mind. And I've got girlfriends, who love gold, who are in their 40s. And we've got readers who are in their 60s who are like, don't put me in that bracket. So I really do believe that it's a bit more of a state of mind than an age.
I couldn't agree with you more, because in my mind, I'm somewhere in my late 30s, maybe early
me too.
40s.
I'm still 27.
I intend to spend the rest of my life in that sort of age group. But no, it's a curious one, and
it's a very fair point. It's a really interesting time for women. It's a great time for women.
It is, and our mothers were not in the same era that we're in
No.
now. And so we're breaking new ground in every which way, in our health and our well-being, how we want to dress and how we want to live our lives. And
our value in society, our value against men, you know,
that's
what
a
we bring
whole
that they
other
don't,
conversation.
you know, I think it's fascinating.
Now, we're here to talk about style today. So how did you decide what you were going to put on this morning?
Oh, well, we've actually got our Sheer Luxe away day today, so we're heading to Oakley Court.
And what does that mean?
That means it's a sort of delayed, well, it was supposed to be a sort of delayed summer event. It's bloody freezing outside.
It is
It had
freezing.
that like cold wind.
Yep.
But we are off for a bit of strategy, a bit of brainstorming, a light sports day, it says on the invitation.
A light sports day.
Yeah,
So
I think
are
there's
you
an
going
endless
to be
spoon race.
putting your sneakers on and...
Well, I've got an answer to your question. I've got some shiny leggings on, which I actually opened yesterday. I love a shiny legging. And I
Well,
bought
with legs
them,
like yours, I am not surprised.
well, I bought them for years from the same place and they've stopped doing them. Anyway, someone in Dubai last week was wearing them and I said, where are those from? And she said, Calzedonia.
Yeah. Well, that's more of a dance brand, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I also bought a whole shiny one piece.
Oof.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I'm not wearing that today, but I'm
Yep.
wearing shiny leggings. I'm wearing a Jill Sander t-shirt, which is like the best shaped t-shirt ever. Some Chanel ballet flats. Can't go wrong. And what else? Oh, we were talking about my totem blazer,
Beautiful.
which I've just worn and worn and worn and worn. But I'm sort of, I have a bit of a uniform. I'm quite a monochrome dresser, lots of tailoring.
Yeah. Were you very aware of your mother's style?
Not really. And I only say that because my mother, she's not really into fashion. She's in her 70s and she looks better and better. She really does.
Are you involved in her styling at all?
No, not at all. I mean, she's not, as I said, she's not hugely into, she always looks really nice. I'd say she's really put together. She has her, she has her bath in the evening. She wears a pink cardigan most days, her pearls, but she's very, I mean, I've got it from her. I did it just before we went on here. Quick hairbrush, lipstick. As a child, whenever we went somewhere, to someone's house for lunch or to stay for the weekend or something, as we were approaching, out would come her comb and her lipstick. And it was lit like 30 seconds before we got there, out comes the comb and the lipstick. I'm definitely the same. So I think, she's very elegant, my mother, and well put together. And she makes a real effort.
But do you remember that moment when you first realised the power of clothes?
I remember going to stay with my godfather and his wife rang my stepmother quite concerned that I'd changed 3 times. I mean, I think I'd worn one thing.
I heard that.
Did you hear that? Yeah. and so, I've always been someone that's made an effort and realised, even at university.
But was there a light bulb moment, even when you were a small child, that you put something on and you went, oh, this feels great. I feel taller and more grown up. And
I mean, I remember going to my aunt and uncle's house for lunch in Berkshire, near Newbury. So it was country, and I rocked up in a pair of sort of cloggy sort of heels, a sort of mule heel, and I got out of the car and my uncle just laughed at me and he said, Georgie, what do you think you look like? I was always wanting to get dressed up, use the good bath salts, get dressed, and I think that goes way back. I mean, I remember a picture of me on the beach in Cornwall when I was 2 and I'm wearing strings and strings of pearls. I was always rummaging through my mother's jewellery box. I was always getting dressed up. My godmother used to call me Little Miss London when I came to stay because I'd bring lots of outfits and, party skirts and things like that. So I think always.
yeah. Now, I believe you were a Deb.
I was. I said that out loud the other day. I thought, why have I
Tell
said
us about that time. Was that an extraordinarily sort of busy time of dressing up and parties? And was it very competitive in terms of dressing up?
No, it wasn't competitive, actually. And I think, it was a very old school thing.
Very old school to have been that recent, quite frankly, wasn't it?
Yeah, very old school. And I think it wasn't it wasn't sort of cool and modern and fashion. So I would say probably it wasn't very competitive, and maybe I wore things that were a bit more modern than some, maybe. But, it was the end of the 90s. It was 1999.
So you came out at the East India Club.
Yeah, in a sari.
In a sari. That was brave and original.
Yeah, I suppose it was. I don't know what people thought, but it was really fun. Look, it was really fun. My mother did it. It's not around anymore much, I don't think. And it was a great thing to do. It was lots of parties. At the time, I was working in Harvey Nichols, so a lot of people sort of in that set worked in Fortnum & Mason, or they worked further. What was it called? GTC.
Yeah, General Trading Company.
GTC at Sloane Square. And I instead went to Harvey Nichols to work in contemporary because I wanted to do something a bit more exposed to fashion. Yeah. And I used to finish work and go down. I mean, they've changed. The staff entrance is very different. We've filmed in there quite a lot, so I've been through it. Oh my God, the change rooms were pretty rank back then. And I would go down and sort of stand on a towel and try and have a shower in this revolting shower, and then put on this really smart outfit and totter across to Basil Street, where there used to be quite a lot of parties. So it was a bit of a mad time, but it was great fun.
Did you meet your husband when you were a Deb?
No, I met him really soon after. So after that, I went to Maribel to do a ski season, and I worked in Dick's Tea Bar, which was a nightclub.
Yep.
And he was a chalet boy, and he appeared at my bar one night. And then he did about 60 nights in a row, I think.
Oh, wow.
Love at first sight. Don't know. We were friends first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you wear for your wedding?
I didn't wear Amanda Wakeley La Sposa. That's what I wish I'd worn.
Oh.
I was talking to Charlotte Collins, our editor-in-chief, who did wear Amanda Wakeley to her wedding.
I love hearing stories of people. Yeah. It's just when they say, but I'm not married anymore to that man. It's like, well, right.
I definitely am.
So what did you wear?
You were a bit pricey for me, I seem to remember.
Sorry.
Don't be. Don't be. I wore I loved lace. Actually, I still do. I love Chantilly lace, and I still do.
It's gorgeous.
So it was very lacy, very figure hugging. I put it on the other day.
Put it on and wore it the other day?
Yeah, well, I wore it when was it William and Kate? No, it was Meghan and Harry. We went to a party and all the girls wore their wedding dresses.
Fantastic.
Pretty fun. And then I tried it on. I actually cleared out my bedroom at my mother's house the other day and tried it on.
Lovely. And tell me, being the sort of director of photography that you are, were you very bossy on your wedding photos? And
no, not at all. I wanted them over really quickly. I can't bear weddings where there's a huge song and dance about the photo. Those group photos, the whole wedding. No thanks. And we actually had this amazing wedding photographer called Catherine Mowbray, who was really, really well known. And she was quite expensive, but we went for it because we didn't have a video, which I really regret. But I got married almost 18 years ago, and it wasn't the norm to have a videographer at your wedding then.
Yes.
It really is now.
Back then it felt very intrusive.
Yeah, my mother was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And so you had this lovely wedding.
So we had Catherine, and she'd done it for years, and she gave you your photos in a, what are they called?
A beautiful portfolio.
Not Linley. Anyway, in one of those lovely, navy blue albums with the black corners. And so we had her, and she was very clever because she got everyone together. And when I say everyone, I don't mean everybody at the wedding. I mean, bridesmaids, in-laws, blah, blah, blah. And then she peeled them off. So she started with the group picture, and it was so fast.
Yeah.
And she'd say, right, parents, drop off. Bridesmaids, drop off. So and so. And then you just ended up with the bride and groom at the end. So it was super quick. It started raining in the middle, so we ran inside. And yeah, it was done and dusted. While I was on my honeymoon, my mother didn't tell me until we got back. She went to my mother and said, I can't bear it, 30 years of my career or whatever it is. This has never happened before. And she'd had something wrong with her lens. And all our formal photos were, no, we didn't have any, non-existent.
No.
Yeah. So she actually retired afterwards. She said, I'm so traumatized by this. And we were really, really nice about it. And she's like, can we reshoot? And I was like, you can't reshoot your wedding day. And my brother-in-law lived in America and blah, blah, blah. So luckily, the lady that made the bridesmaids' dresses was in the drawing room and happened to take a couple. So we have a couple from her.
And did she take lots of reportage photography?
We had
at
lots
the wedding?
getting to the church. We
Yeah.
had lots in the marquee, but we don't have the big. My husband and I had some nice ones of us walking out of church.
Yeah.
Like really nice.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Lovely.
That's enough.
It's enough. You have so much fashion in front of you the whole time. Do you ever get what I call snowblind to fashion and product and clothes?
Yeah.
How do you withdraw yourself from that and be the gorgeous Georgie that you are?
I probably shouldn't withdraw so much. But yeah, I'm totally snowblind. I haven't heard that expression before, but I know exactly what you mean. I probably should, and I sort of look at some of the team who are, in the latest this and look, and by the way, that's part of their job to do that. So
Yeah.
before anyone says, it's vacuous, it's whatever, it's part of their job.
It's part of the job to inspire.
Exactly. So, yeah, I often think I need to put a bit more time into it. In all honesty, to me, it's sort of work. So, yeah, it sort of becomes a bit like white noise. And I have to think, right, I'm going to think about this now and consciously do that.
And how do you consciously think about it? Do you have a method for working out your next season's looks or
No.
how you're evolving your looks?
No. And I probably should. I'm spending quite a lot of time in the Middle East now, and people often, when I go to the Middle East, I'm on camera a lot. So I really have to think about what I'm going to wear in advance. So when I go, everything is sort of planned. And the amount of people who said, God, your style's really changed since the Middle East. And it hasn't. I just have to focus on it and I have to prepare. And actually, you do see a difference in that.
Yes, and I was going to ask you actually about being in the Middle East. And have you consciously been more demure in your looks because it's the Middle East?
Definitely in Saudi. However, Saudi is still very misunderstood. I'm hoping that we're sort of pulling back the curtain a bit, but actually you can wear what you want. And somebody very senior there said to me the other day, if I achieve one thing in my life that, will make me happy, it's that people know that Saudi is open, that women are free and you can wear what you want.
The change is phenomenal. Because I was there, 10 years ago.
Oh, really?
And it was proper, you put your burqa on the plane, your...
What were you doing there?
I was doing trunk show.
Oh, were you?
Yes, in Jeddah.
Jeddah's amazing.
Amazing. But seeing how it's all opened up and changed is really, really exciting for women, I think.
It really is. I sort of couldn't stress that more. It's phenomenal what's happening and how quickly.
When do you feel that you really discovered your style DNA, who you are, what your look is?
I was thinking about this the other day, and look, we all evolve, we all make mistakes. God, I wore some shocking things when I was a teenager. But I think I've always been someone who's, like my mother, quite polished, quite put together, makes an effort, not too fussy, quite a lot of black, but, a bit of blush, a little, a bit of femininity. And that's sort of been the way for a long time. I actually found an article the other day that was in the Daily Mail the year I started Sherlock's, and it was about something to do with tax relief and entrepreneurs or something. And I was so out of my depth being interviewed by the Daily Mail on this topic, but somehow it came to me as an opportunity for a bit of PR, and I took it. And they came to our tiny little one-bedroom flat where I started Sheer Luxe on a table, literally half the size of this. Laura and I used to work. And they came and photographed me. And I am wearing, in that photo, a blush pink sort of ruffled top with a black V-neck cashmere jumper and a pair of pearl earrings. And I could sort of wear all that now. I wouldn't wear a V-neck cashmere jumper with something underneath. And I would definitely have worn it probably 3 sizes bigger than it was. And I probably wouldn't be wearing the same pearl earrings. But, you know, it's quite timeless. Yeah. So I would say my style is quite timeless. You know, cheap but modern, hopefully, and not too fussy, not too complicated. And, you know, I think I mentioned earlier, you know, when I was at university, I'd be in my tracky bums. People used to say, God, how do you make tracky bums look stylish? And I just think I'd put them with a nice jacket and I had a bit of makeup on and it was sort of pulled together. And I think I've been like that forever, I think.
How would you want someone to describe your style DNA in 3 words?
Modern, classic. Can I have put together?
Yeah, I like that. That's you. That's you. Fundamentally, who do you think you dress for?
I dress to be the person I want to be perceived as, I think. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
I think it's part of our personality. How we dress is part of our personality. You know, it's the first thing you see. It's the first thing you judge someone on. It's an extension of who I am.
What do you reach for when you want to feel empowered?
I mean, definitely heels. I know that's a cliche.
And heel of choice?
Oh, I mean, I'm quite a shoe girl.
Okay.
I'm quite a shoe girl. I'm quite a Saint Laurent shoe girl. I love shoes, but I love to keep wearing shoes. You know, I wore a pair of Gianvito Rossi shoes the other day that I wear probably a couple of times a year. They're brilliant with everything. Yeah. I've had them for 10 years.
There's something fantastic about putting that heel on that you love. It looks sexy on your foot and you changes the way you walk. And
there are certain shoes that you put with anything, you know, jeans and a white t-shirt, even with a sort of floral dress, not that I really wear them, and it just transforms it instantly. Yeah. And you carry yourself so differently.
Yeah. Would you say age is a consideration as to how you dress?
My knees are. You know, Hodge, my great friend and colleague, is like, babe, the window's closing, you know, wear the skirt.
Talking about age, what's your views on tweakments?
Go for it, why not? And, you know, but I'm a believer in makeup. You know, my mother always said to me, darling, we need our makeup. We need to put our face on. I definitely do. Some people are so naturally beautiful, they don't. But, you know, same for tweakments, just not too much. I say to girlfriends, if you catch me looking like that, can you just lock me in the cupboard until, you know.
And what would a like that be?
Too much lip, too much filler. Filler in your lips and your face. Too much of that is not a good look.
Now, you are phenomenally busy. Is your wardrobe equally phenomenally organised?
It's quite organised, yeah. Colour, item, I mean...
Yeah. Have you ever used a stylist to just help you organise or pack or any of that?
No, I often think I should, but I also often think I should, but then I often think I'd be cheating. Can I really be the founder of Sheer Luxe and use a stylist? I'm not sure I could sleep at night. Yeah.
So how do you plan your looks?
I don't really. No, I don't. I get up in the morning and I look at the weather. I mean, that's the problem, is that then you get into the 80-20 or 20-80 rule, don't you, of just wearing 20% of your wardrobe all the time. I do try and force myself to wear different things, to wear things that I love that I haven't for ages. Actually, I know you're going to ask me what one of my most treasured pieces in my wardrobe is.
Yes,
I went to a dinner party on Saturday and I'd been in the Middle East last week. And I was filming some content at Bloomingdale's, doing a bit of a try-on. And I was in the Dolce & Gabbana pop-up, and they had this amazing sort of corset top, similar to one someone had been wearing at an event the night before. And I thought, oh, that's really hot. And that's really cool. And I was like, oh, maybe I should get it. And then I remembered that in my wardrobe was a Dolce & Gabbana top that my husband bought me when I was at Edinburgh University from Jenner's. Don't know if it's still there, which is a department store.
I remember Jenner's back in the day.
And I wore it to a dinner on Saturday night. And I hadn't worn it for literally like a decade.
Fantastic, because the worst thing is realising when it's too late that you have repeat bought something.
I know. So, yeah, I think it is really important to take a bit of time. I don't do it enough, but in answer to your question, yeah, I don't do it enough. I get up, I'm like, right, what am I going to wear? But I think when you have a bit of a uniform, that's quite easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't take you into new territory or make your outfits terribly interesting, I would say. So, occasionally I'll think, right, I've got something important tomorrow. What am I going to wear? Or if I'm going to the Middle East, it's very much planned. That said, I fly on Sunday and I haven't worked it out yet. I'm there for a week. So,
I mean, let's talk about travel for a second. Are you very aware of your airport look, what you're travelling in?
I sort of, again, I have a uniform.
And what is that uniform?
So it's either shiny leggings.
And not too hot on a plane?
No, I'm never hot on the plane. Actually, sometimes at night. No, either shiny leggings or trackies. Yeah.
And a trackie brand of choice? Are you a cashmere trackie?
No, I'm a regular. What is it? What is a tracksuit made of?
Cotton.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Grey. It tends to be grey. People would be very disappointed if I posted my airport looks every time because they're pretty much the same.
Are you a good packer or a bad packer?
I'm a very methodical packer. And I tell you, I'm a very methodical packer when I come home. So I have my washing in a segment. I've cleared out every bag. I have everything neatly filled. I'm very... When I get home, so I got home at 6:30 a.m. on Friday morning and got back into bed for 2 hours sleep. But before I did that, I had to unpack everything. Every bag has to go away. Every pair of sunglasses, every pair of shoes.
Is that a hangover of boarding school?
Maybe. Or just being quite anal. And
What
efficient.
star sign are
I think
you?
efficient as well. I'm Scorpio. I think when I get home...
Because you were sounding very like a Virgo, right?
Oh, am
then.
I? But I'm a mad unpacker. We got back from a 3-week holiday with the children at the end of August. And we got home at 1:30 a.m. And we had...
Please don't tell me you unpacked then. Oh, my God.
I did. I can't not. My husband was like, let's just leave it till tomorrow. I was like, yeah. And then I was like, can you just put the children to bed? Quick. But I had 2 suitcases just with dirty washing. All the children's things were in exactly the right... But yeah, I have to. People who leave their suitcase for a week,
I
like
have to
that
say,
makes me spin.
I'm sort of with you. I like to get home, get it out, and then, move on.
Yeah.
Move on. What luggage do you use?
Away.
Which brand would you say is your guilty secret?
Guilty? I don't know about that. I'm sort of quite proud to shop. I tell you where I shopped the other day. I mean, it's not that big a deal. But I was in Primark getting my daughter some things for school. She wanted a load of knickknacks for her dorm, so we went there. And their sort of Skims dupes, their bodies, their stretchy ribbed bodies are amazing. I've been back and got 3 more. I got 1. I thought I'll try it. So it's a sort of kind of thick strap body, stretchy white. I can't remember how much, but like 10 quid.
Nothing.
So good.
And if I would say to you, Georgie, you can only dress in 2 brands for the rest of your life, 1 high street, 1 designer, what would those 2 brands be?
Oh, Amanda. Saint Laurent.
I thought you might have said that.
Could I have Massimo Dutti?
You can have whoever
I think I'd have
you
Massimo
want.
Dutti.
Now that surprises
Massimo
me.
Dutti Studio, which isn't really high street.
Okay.
Massimo Dutti Studio
I'll let
is
you cheat.
really good.
I'll let you cheat. What is the most expensive item of clothing that you've ever bought? I'm not asking for the price tag.
I mean, I think you'd be disappointed with the price tag, probably. I've really consciously, like a lot of people, started to buy a lot less. And I really mean a lot less than I used to. And then I will suddenly go and buy sort of 4 quite expensive pieces. But
And where will you buy them?
I mean, I shop at Net a lot for ease, just because,
Yeah.
you know, I get a good discount. I get same day delivery. It's really easy. Returns is so easy.
Yeah.
I don't really get out and shop very much, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
You know, occasionally I'll pop in somewhere on the way back from a meeting, but I don't really have time.
I was going to ask, do you get out to shop?
No, not
Because you
really.
must see such a flow of beautiful clothing,
Not
both
really.
high street and designer, coming through the doors, the revolving door of sheer
Yeah.
luxe, that
I see everything, but my role is you know, I'm not touching all of that like others are, so it's probably harder for them, and that snow blindness is definitely
yeah.
real. So no, I'm quite an online shopper, and then suddenly if I'm somewhere, I'll shop. We were filming at Bicester the other day. Before I knew it,
What did you buy?
I bought this t-shirt because I tried it on. You see, that's the thing. I've been wanting to try it on for ages. Someone said it's a really good shape. It's a really good shape. I bought a pair of jeans from Margiela. I bought some Manolo Blahniks, and I bought a bag in Bottega Veneta. And, you know, I do not do that every day.
Yeah.
At all.
Let's talk about sustainable fashion. What's your approach?
Buying less and better. I mean, it's not new, is it? But it's so the way forward. And I think I was talking to someone the other day, and they said, "What shall I wear? What do you think of this?" I wore it to, and I said, I think it's so different now. You really wear the same thing again with pride.
Yeah.
And we had a blush event recently with all the blush talent, and I can't remember the brand, which is really annoying. Is it Kate? Can't remember. But anyway, I wore a dress that I've probably worn publicly. God, I sound like a dick, but I don't mean to. Sort of 4 times now. 10 years ago, you would not
that would have
done
mattered,
that,
wouldn't
and it would have mattered.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I really wear things again with pride.
Yeah. And where would you go for pre-loved? What are your...
I like Cellier,
Yeah.
Vestiaire. They're probably the two I would mainly go to.
What do you do with your clothes when you've had enough of them?
I give quite a lot to friends, quite a lot to charity, sent quite a lot to SmartWorks recently.
Yeah, which is a great charity, isn't it? What would you say is the oldest piece in your wardrobe?
The Gucci Gigi, I think it's the Jackie. It's the Jackie that my mother bought me with a personalised number plate for my 21st.
Oh, I love it. Talking bags, what's your view on the price point of the current It bags?
Yeah, wild. I'm carrying today a Totem bag over there, which is a really, really good bag. It's in lots of colours, lots of people have it. I bought it, was it a year ago? Not quite. And I think it was it 800? And I was like, God, that's a bargain. That's crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy that we're thinking
That's
like
what
that.
I mean, is that we're programmed to think, like, look, you can spend so much more.
What's your view when you see a woman with a crocodile Birkin?
Well, I have a phobia of reptiles, so the idea of a crocodile
On your
Birkin,
Well, your husband's very grateful for that, I would.
I know. In fact, this amazing woman sent me a snakeskin bag not long ago, and I had to send it back to her. I was like, I'm so touched, but I can't bear waste.
Let's spin on some quick fire questions, so quick answers. Fashion advice that you'd give your 20-year-old self?
Ignore the sizing.
Like that. Fashion trend you'd most like to see make a comeback?
I'd say sort of, well, it is back, isn't it? Sort of 80s, 90s power dressing is, it's wonderful that that's back.
Fashion trend you'd like to consign to room 101? Or beauty trend?
Sun in. This is actually my hair colour. I used to bleach it blonder than this.
Wow. It's amazing.
Awful.
Your last impulse buy?
Some Loro Pianas on holiday.
Views on tattoos?
I have one. I really want another.
And what would it be?
It would be my children's initials. on the side of my wrist.
Beauty treatment you couldn't give up.
Treatments. Can I say that?
You can say that. High end or high street?
High end.
Bling or bear?
Sometimes more is more. Sometimes you want the earrings, the necklace, I think if you're being intelligent, you'd say bear, but actually there's something great about getting dressed up like a Christmas tree.
Minimalism or maximalism?
Maximalism.
Crocs, cute or puke?
Puke. Puke, 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 puke.
Sneakers or stilettos?
Stilettos.
Skinnies or boyfriends or wide legs?
No, boyfriends are quite wide, aren't they? The latter half.
Bodycon or boho?
Bodycon.
Red carpet or relax?
I'm so relax. I mean, I'm not a sort of industry events gal.
Trend or style?
Style.
Colour or monochrome?
Monochrome.
Experimental or uniform?
Uniform.
Cashmere or cotton?
Cashmere.
Shapewear or sexy lingerie?
Lingerie.
Tights or stockings?
Don't really wear either. Quite like a polka dot tight though.
Bikini or one piece?
One piece.
Beanie or beret?
Oh, neither.
And finally, at the end of the day, what do you or don't you wear in bed?
Piglet linen PJs. For years, I wore nothing. Then Lou, our fashion director, introduced me to Piglet in bed. And trust me, you won't regret it. It's the
Sounds
best thing
so
ever.
wrong. Piglet in bed.
Heaven.
Georgie, thank you for making the time to come and have this conversation with me today. I have loved it. I've loved talking all things style and fashion with you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great fun.
What fun.